Anyway, now, quickly speaking of drafts, we thought we'd do something a little fun. Mix it up. It's like date night, but you do something a bit fucking fancy for the misso. And you community, you're our misso. So we want to do something a little bit fancy for you. We want to compare Roosters back-to-back premiership winning side. It's the 2018-19 versus the Penrith Panthers back-to-back 2021-2022 side. And we want to have the debate. Who wins that match? And also, who would be the starting 17 from both sides? So the best 17 that we would pick from both sides. Now, Maddie, unfortunately, hasn't put the squads in front of me, so I'm going to get her up. But first of all, let's just get the ball rolling, and then what I'll do is I'll get the two squads up so you can have a look, boys. Penrith Panthers 2021-2022 versus the Roosters 2018-19. Who wins and why?
Just quickly, I just can't wait to sit back and just listen to a guru masterclass here. He'll rattle off
very torn, to be fair,
every
mate.
stat from every game, and I'm just going to enjoy this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, the first thing comes to mind to me is that you get the two halfbacks, Cooper Cronk, Nathan Cleary. I think that'd be one for the ages. That'd be fucking unreal to watch. And I'm really torn as to which side I would lean towards. Obviously, the recency bias of what the Penrith Panthers have done, how dominant they've been for such a long time, it's been incredible. But, I mean, you go back to those two Roosters teams. You know, you had Luke Keary as 5'8", Cooper Cronk at halfback. The forward packs were unbelievable. Latrell Mitchell at left centre, potentially playing out of position. Those Roosters teams were incredible. And, you know, I think realistically the only thing that stood in their way of really competing for that third premiership was Cooper Cronk retiring. So, I don't know. It's hard to say because I think you're also looking at Cooper Cronk, the most mature Cooper Cronk we've seen, whereas you're talking about your Nathan Cleary, your Jerome Luais, who I don't think they're at their peak yet. So it's hard for me to compare. I'm leaning kind of towards the Roosters, though, to be honest with you. What are you thinking, Timmy?
Even on the back of 2019 grand final, said refereeing decision controversial, they just knocked off the Raiders, just the battlers from down south who scrapped their way to a grand final. They could only just beat us with his superstar lineup. Does that come into it at all, mate? When we look at the Storm and Panthers who both blitzed their grand final wins, and it's not knocking the Roosters, but like if we're trying to find, you know,
if you're trying
the
to
grand
nitpick,
final,
yeah.
that's the game that stands out. That's what we're talking about, the big stage.
Well, I think Tim makes a good point there, which is something else we need to include, is that in and around these teams, which Matty pointed out pre-show, there's been over the last 6 years, the Roosters have won 2 comps, Penrith have won 2, Melbourne's also won 2, and I would argue that 2017 Melbourne Storm team on its own is probably the best of all of them. I thought that team.
Oh, come on, Gurino. Don't be throwing a third team in. Jesus. What are you doing to us, mate?
Just to give you some numbers, though, on that 2017 Storm side, just to make it even more complicated. The Broncos in 2017, they had the second best for and against in the competition that year with 164, plus 164. The Melbourne Storm was plus 297.
Let's stick to Roosters Panthers, bro. Wasn't this friggin' your idea, bro? What are you talking about every grand final in the bloody...
Matty threw in Melbourne and got me excited. So.
Okay. So the squads, and I just went the second year for both teams. You got Dylan Edwards at fullback, James Tedesco at fullback. We all picking Teddy at number 1?
Yep.
Charlie Staines, Daniel Tupou.
Tupou, of course.
Tupou. Tungor, Mitchell.
Hurts me, but I'll go Latrell.
Yeah.
Crichton, Manu. Grand final hero. Fuck me, yeah. Manu.
I'm Manu.
Yeah, Manu.
Think about how crazy this is. We've gone Roosters every selection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but you go Manu, and face value, you go Manu, but you can't take away what Crichton won them the comp in 21.
I also think that we're looking at Manu, what we've seen since then too. Personally, I think Manu then.
Oh, Manu then?
Crichton,
Yeah,
then
that's a good
I would
point.
go with Critter.
That's a good point. That's a great point, Gurino. Because then Manu was almost allowing Latrell to be the guy, and he was just kind of really solid, grateful. I mean, he was still a fucking great centre.
Oh, he's a great centre.
It's been the last 2 years that he's really...
But he wasn't the strike centre in that team.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can see that. So what? Has he turned you, Timmy? Or are you still going Manu?
Keep in mind, Critter was the Dally M centre on the other side of the park the year before this and then came up with the play to win this grand final. So
Yeah, it brings a lot. Oh, look, I'm still going. Just because Joe Manu wasn't the standout in his team, he was also playing next to Teddy, Latrell, Cronk, Cleary. I'm still probably Manu, and as I said, he wasn't the standout in that Roosters outfit, but he was still an unbelievable defensive centre. He was still effective in attack, so I'm still just going Manu, but you make a really good point.
It's hard because, like, what's your barriers or whatever the barrier is? It how they played in the grand final, or is it like what they did in the season? Anyway, next one. And now we'll be able to change it. Brian To'o, Brett Morris. Holy shit. And we're not talking about career. We're just talking about selected in, a one game.
I'll tell you what, I reckon both of them in their second grand final they won, or the second one, I reckon they both played well enough to win Clive Churchill's that night. I thought Brian To'o in the grand final was amazing. Brett Morris against you guys. Like, Jack Whiten got the Clive Churchill because his kicking game was so good. Brett Morris, he came down with everything that night. I reckon this is one of the harder ones.
I'm going to go and cheat and say To'o replaces Tupou, and I go To'o Morris.
Can't do that, you dog. Fuck. I don't know. What do you reckon?
If I want to cheat like Kempy, I'd do the same. But if I'm going To'o versus Brett Morris, so difficult. But what Biz has done is, I think he's changed the position of wing. Brett Morris was unbelievable for so many reasons, but Brian To'o's running for 300 metres a game for fun. I'm going To'o.
Was Brett Morris there the first one? He wasn't he?
No.
No. Okay. Got To'o then.
I'm still torn on the Manu Critter one. I don't know, because you've made a real good point at the period, but he was still a fucking really good centre. I don't know what the answer is.
And I think if you put that way of thinking in with this one, I go to Brian To'o. Brett Morris in his last season, or Brian To'o when he's like, I think we're all still sleeping on what Brian To'o is doing at the moment.
Oh, no, I'm not sleeping at all.
I'm with you.
Sorry, not us,
Yeah.
but I think people are sleeping on what.
Yeah.
People are acting like he's just repeating.
Because
what guys
part
have done in
of
the
Brett
future.
Morris's incredible ability was his consistency.
Yes.
And he still had his big moments in that. Anyway, now on to the halves. Oh my fuck. Okay, so Luai Cleary. I'm going Cleary.
Yeah, I'm going Cleary.
Cleary.
Cleary, Cronk.
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 Matty?
I'm going Cleary because Cronk, this is going to sound really harsh, he didn't do anything in the grand final except for
Well, his second one he did.
yes,
First one he had a fuck shot.
He had one arm.
he
They
did.
knew he wasn't going to do anything, and they still put him out.
Yeah.
They
That's the
did,
answer
they
to
did,
your
they did,
riddle.
but he also got sin binned in the second grand final. I think Cleary,
So you going off purely performance in the grand final?
I'm leaning towards that, yeah. That's why I'm going Crichton as well. I just think in the grand final teams, obviously Cronk's better, well, at the moment, but yeah, to me, the yarn was great, but he didn't do anything in that grand final with the ball in his hand. So
Cleary.
I'm going Cleary.
I'm going Cronk because he was in, 5 grand finals in a row?
Yeah.
Towards the end of his career?
I'm not going on their grand final
Performance.
Like, you take that in consideration, but I'm going, if I had to pick either a guy for one game.
Yeah. And,
Who would it be?
increase the likelihood of winning the
Yeah,
comp.
yeah.
That's the guy.
I think I might be scarred by Crichton and Cleary destroying my dreams in 2021.
That's true. So you're going, are you going Critter as well?
I'm definitely going Crichton.
So you're going
100%.
Critter, you're going Critter. I'll just
No,
to bounce-
I'm going Manu.
No, I'm speaking.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
My finger was like that. Guru's going Critter. We'll go Manu.
Yeah.
So at the moment, me and you, we only have Roosters
Be-
players
be-
except for To'o.
Because on Matty's logic, I'd go Critter because his grand final
Yeah.
performances are unbelievable. But if I was picking it, I'd be going Manu.
And
Okay.
as you said with Cronk, not only that his 5th grand final in a row, that was his 3rd premiership in a
I
row
know.
across 2
Wild.
clubs.
Across two clubs.
I love a defensive centre more than just about anyone. And Manu is just unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. Okay. So Cleary, only person going Cleary is you, Matty. What's crazy is the decision's much harder than I think a lot of people would give it credit for. I think a lot of people would immediately go Cronk because of his record, but Cleary is fucking so good. Anyway, number 8, Moses Leota, Hargreaves.
JWH.
At their peaks, JWH.
Yeah, I'm going Hargraves.
JWH. What I'll do here is Mitch.
I think you should look at
Switch
both
it?
bench hookers because they've got Jake Friend on their bench too.
Yeah, okay. We'll switch it. So,
Yeah.
Appy Coruscant or Jake Friend?
I'd go Appy.
I'm going happy.
Happy.
I'm going happy as well, but friend, I know
He was incredible in the grand final.
Yeah, especially with that sin bin when he was
Defended his
defending.
dick off.
He was defending for two people. But yeah, Coruscant, unbelievable player.
Okay. Number 10. Fisher Harris, Isaac Liu. Fisher Harris every day of the week.
Fish. Yep.
Yeah.
Isaac Liu, good, solid front rower, but Fisher Harris. Like, honestly, I'd go probably Fisher over Hargreaves. That's how highly I rate Fish. That's how highly I rate him. Kick-out. Oh, this is fucking tough. Kick-out or Boyd Cordner? I'll tell you what I'm going. I'll ease the tension. I'm going Cordner.
Yeah, Boyd, 100%.
I'm Boyd.
Quite easily Boyd.
Okay, I thought that a bit of a red flag. Like, the kick-out ceiling is pretty great. Okay, Boyd Cordner. Liam Martin. Oh, no. Liam Martin or Mitchell Orbison? I'm going Orbo.
Tim?
Liam Martin.
Going Liam Martin.
Yeah. Orbo is a
Mate.
god to all, but Orbo's best attribute was that he was unbelievably versatile. He would just be Mr. Fix-It in any position that was required.
Crazy
if I'm picking
good
my
defence.
starting back, yeah, he's a gun. But like Liam Martin, and we saw it at the World Cup in the back end of the season for Penrith, Liam Martin just became just this bull. If I'm picking my back rower, it's Liam Martin.
Wow, okay.
I love that Mitchell Orbison could consider himself a premiership winning halfback because he wore the number 7.
Yeah,
in
well,
the
number
2008
7. I
grand
always
final.
say he's a premiership winning halfback. Who you got?
I'll probably just go Liam Martin.
you got?
If I can't put Kick-Out on the right, which would be cheating, but yeah, I'll probably go Martin out of those two.
Yeah, I think I would edge to Liam Martin too.
Oh, he's a dog. Orbo, better defence, can cover more positions, and they've got enough strike in the side. Like, Orbo can literally play nearly anywhere.
I'm picking a back row. I'm not picking an anywhere.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but in a game, things like your utility value does bring value.
To your
a
point as
certain
well, I think Liam Martin didn't start the first grand final, did he? Because they had Capewell there. So that does bring it back to...
And also, Liam Martin defensively sometimes can miss some tackles. Like he doesn't have bad defense, but it's definitely not the same as Orbo's defense. I would say, like, maybe his line running is better than Orbo's, but I'm going Orbo. Anyway, it's good that we got this. Now, here's a big one. Isaiah Yeo, Victor Radley. I know who I'm going.
Based on those grand finals, I'd probably lean to Rats based on those grand finals.
But it's who you'd pick at their best for your team to win a game of footy.
At their absolute best, I would go Isaiah Yeo. But I thought Radley was incredible in both. I thought he's so...
So you selecting Radley or is it Yeo?
What are we basing it on, Kempy?
We've based it on like who you'd pick to win the game. Not their performance in the grand final, who you'd pick to win the game.
I'd probably lean to Isaiah Yeo then.
Okay, Timmy?
I'm Isaiah Yeo. For what he's done to the ball playing lock roll in the last couple of years, I think Isaiah Yeo's value to a team, I'd be Isaiah Yeo.
Matty?
Sure.
Yeah, Yo's so important to that Penrith team. I'm going him just.
Yeah, I'm going Isaiah. So basically, out of the Penrith side, we only have To'o, Fisher Harris, some Liam Martin, Isaiah Yeo. So right now on paper, we're going more Roosters than Panthers. Now, onto the bench, and we'll put Mitch Kenny and we'll put Sam Verrills on the bench. Mitch Kenny, Sam Verrills.
They're such different hookers, aren't they? I'd probably lean Kenny, maybe. I don't know. I could go either way there.
Timmy?
I'm Sam Verrills, and I know I've just said we're not basing it off one game, but first try scorer in NRL grand final in a low-scoring grand final, very good try. That's an enormous play in his books and enough to edge him for me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Verrills as well, and I think he's pretty underrated, Verrills. I think he's been a bit unlucky last few years, and I really hope he goes well at the Titans this
Had a
year.
lot of injuries.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, and like really weird injuries, like detached retinas and shit. So
I think it really depends on the makeup of your side. Do you want a bloke that can play in the forwards and on the edge if you had to, Mitch Kenny, or do you want a specialist hooker in there to come and tear things up? I would go Sam Verrills if I'm going. I'd go Sam Verrills. That's my answer. But I can understand Mitch Kenny plays a bit of a different role. Like, he's just brought on there to tackle his ass off.
you're right though. If you're having Friend as your hooker, you probably have Verrills as your 14. But if you have Coruscant as your hooker, you'd probably rather have Kenny.
Exactly. So it really depends on the balance of your squad. Now, Scott Sorensen or Angus Crichton?
Angus.
Best bench X factor in the NRL, Scott Sorensen.
He fucking knew he is.
Angus Crichton.
I actually didn't even realise Crichton was on the bench.
God.
But yeah, Crichton for me.
Crichton. Sorensen's impact off the bench is incredible. We're talking about Angus Crichton here. Spencer Linu or Tokiaho?
Oh.
I'm going Tokiaho.
Yeah, Tokiaho then at his peak. Yeah, I'll take him.
Taukio for sure.
Yeah, tug it over for sure, yeah.
Jermaine Salmon or Nat Butcher?
Nah.
Nat.
Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher for me.
So what is that? And coach Ivan Cleary, Trent Robinson.
I think the thing that we need to get, obviously a lot of this has been Rooster dominant, but you're looking at this Rooster side, like a lot of these guys, and I don't know if it should be more credit to Penrith. This Penrith was such a younger side.
Yeah, like these are guys at the end of their career.
Yeah, like you have a look at this Rooster, you're talking about a lot of guys that are 27, 28, 29, whereas this Panther side, like some of these guys, we're talking about them when they were at 23, 24.
Well, and also, like, to your point, these other guys have had a career to build up their reputations as consistent, utility, rah-rah. So don't take, like, put it this way, it would not surprise me if we redid this in 5 years' time and it was completely different. Because To'o could go on to be the greatest winger of all time. You got Crichton, we don't know what's going to happen. Tungal's in his first year. You've got Nathan Cleary, who could eclipse Cooper Cronk. Jerome Luai, still relatively young. He's won 2 premierships. I think Cleary's won 3, so it's not that far off. So there's, like Kickout could go to the Dogs and absolutely fucking destroy. And all of a sudden it's completely flipped and it's more Penrith than... the only person that I think has absolutely in this 2 team, and this is... no one loves Dylan Edwards more than me, is probably Tedesco. The person that you would absolutely lock and probably isn't going to have his spot taken. Outside of that... and then maybe...
Latrell at centre.
Yeah, Latrell at centre. He's not getting taken. But yeah, outside of that, you could probably, if all these Penrith boys go on to do what we think they're going to do, they could replace
That's
it.
It's impossible. Like, we're picking it off the team we would have to win a game of footy between them, but it's impossible not to have the bias of longevity of a career. It's so hard.
With the coaches, if you had to go to the same situation and be coached for the next 5 years by Cleary or Robinson, who would you lean towards?
I'd probably go Robinson just because, like, I mean, look, he was fortunate to a degree. Not fortunate, he earned it, but he became the Roosters coach. So you could make the argument, well, Ivan Cleary, okay, yeah, he hasn't had as much success, but he's been at different clubs. Like, he hasn't had, the Warriors. It was arguably their most successful period outside of when they first started was under Ivan Cleary. Got into a grand final. The Warriors, like...
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at as well, premierships, minor premierships, blah, 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 which Robinson just wins. But I think for Robinson... that 2021 year when his whole team was injured and he still got him to the semis, like, just coaching performances like that lead me to Trent Robinson.
I would lean towards Robinson, but I actually think Ivan Cleary is much closer than people would give credit for. I don't think Ivan Cleary gets enough credit. I really don't. Really don't. Okay, so in the end, there was, 4 Panthers that you guys chose, that we all chose, all up. So on paper... the Rooster side seems to be better, but again, they have that added bias of the fact they all got to essentially complete their careers. It'd be really interesting if we could go further. Anyway, after reading that, after knowing that most of us would pick a lot of the Roosters players, do you think the Roosters beats this young Penrith side?
Yeah, I said off the top that I thought the Roosters would win this, but it sucks. Like we'll I don't think we'll ever have any idea because a challenge like that doesn't exist for Penrith. I wish it did.
Yeah.
Fuck, I wish it did. I wish that we got to see, as I've said it a few times, I wish we got to see this Penrith Panther side play a Melbourne Storm team with Cam Smith still.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did. To be fair, we did.
Not
this
the
one.
Maturity and the team that Penrith is now. We got to see them sort of on paper, but like Nathan Cleary, Jerome, these guys weren't the players they are now, which is how it works, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would probably back in the Chooks. Cooper Cronk, Luke Keary, Tedesco. The backline's just unbelievable.
Backline's a joke.
It's one of the best backlines of all time, I reckon.
Trell Mitchell, Joey Manu. What do you reckon, Timmy?
Like Brett Morris for the last season.
Crazy. What do you reckon?
I'd go the Roosters, mate, but I don't know. You could make a million different arguments for so many different reasons, bring in so many different variables. As I said, the Roosters, who just knocked off the Raiders in the grand final, Penrith just obliterated the Eels, and it was like just
To be
no
fair,
competition.
the Roosters, that's essentially same squad, towed the Storm up
Yeah, the
year before. Without Cooper Cronk, you're barely playing.
That's it. I'm Team Roosters, but
It'll be if in 12 months' time Penrith has won a third comp in a row.
I tell you what, we'll try to remember. We'll do this in at least like maybe 12 months or 24 months time, and we'll see if we'll revisit to see.
Because all of a sudden, if you're looking at all these players, yes, they're young, but if Nathan Cleary's, obviously the first halfback since Cooper Cronk to win 3 in a row, like it changes your mindset. Doing something that no team's been able to do in 40 odd years.
Yeah.
And who knows if they're done there.
Who you got winning?
I got Roosters. I think just those alphas of Boyd, Cronk, Teddy, and then like Latrell and Joey Manu. I think the Roosters, especially that 2018 team, like as you said, that first half when they beat Melbourne is one of the most crazy first halves of all time.
Yeah.
Cleary played the perfect game, like with Cronk in his ear. Yeah, it's hard to look past the recent Penrith team. But, yeah, I'm going, for the only time in my life, I'm going Roosters.
Yeah, you are a dog, bro. Yeah, I'm going Roosters. And I understand, like, if there's Penny Panthers fans, like, think that the fact they have a long career gives the bias towards Roosters. I'd admit that. I'm saying, like, yeah, that's a fair call. Like, we aren't comparing Nathan Cleary at the end of his career to Cooper Cronk. We're comparing Nathan Cleary to fucking 5 years into his career. But I think right now, especially when you look at that back line, I actually think the forward pack is quite even. Like, actually, I think the forward pack's really even when I look at it. But when I look at that back line, and then I look like Cooper Cronk obviously doing what he did at club, but also what he did for Queensland as well, I think the Roosters just find a way to get it done. But I do feel that if it was a full season, I don't know who would come out on top. In a one-off game, I can see the Roosters with the Cooper Cronk. But in a full season, I wonder who would win the minor premiership. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments section. Does the Roosters 2019 beat the Penrith Panthers 2000 and... is that the 2022 side?
That'd be 22, yeah.
Yes. So Staines on the wing. Oh, yeah, Taylor May was injured. Let us know in the comments section who would win. We thought we'd do that. We'll add some more little fun stuff like that. It's always interesting because you just don't know. And the good thing is we have different answers. Even if you want to list your best 17 in the comments section, guys, and let us know who would be your best 17 from those two sides. But outside of that, February 1st, 6 p.m., 50% off everything for 50 hours. Brand new bloke shirts dropping, and they're going to be 50% off. That's $25. There's a bunch of other shirts that are going to be $25. We've got thongs. We've got boardies that I think will go down to like 20. 50% off everything for 50 hours only. February 1st, 6 p.m. You boys got anything going on?
Yeah, Wednesday we've got Beers and Break-Evens returning.
Yep.
So Wednesday we'll be going through Tim's team, revealing his side, and then my shit shoulder side on Thursday. So stay tuned for that this week.
Okay, Timmy, anything?
Yeah, Biz and Break-Evens obviously this week, and then SC Playbook will be getting stuck into all our podcasting and articles on website content from next week for the new year.
Perfect. That is us done and doosted for the day. As usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.